if you're on the VIP or you're new here, we operate on a 2, 4, 10 unit unit sizing bet system. 2 units, 4 units, 10 units being our super max. Now, I always tell everybody that a unit has to correlate to a percentage of your bankroll. Typically 1%. One unit should be 1% of your bankroll, but that's all based on risk tolerance. If you have a little bit higher risk tolerance, it's 1%. If you want a little bit lower risk tolerance, you're going to lower your unit to 0.5% of your bankroll. So if you had a $10,000 bankroll, a unit should only be $100 if it's at 1%. So if we're going on a 2, 4, 10 unit scale and you had a $10,000 bankroll, you should only be betting $200, $400, or $1,000 plus the juice. If you wanted to scale it back and show less risk tolerance, and you wanted to make it 0.5% per unit, you're only going to be betting on a 2 unit is $100. On a 4 unit is $200. On a 10 unit Supermax is $500. And that's how the system works in order to mitigate risk, to withstand any downswings. Guys, this is gambling, right? We're making investments in the teams and we're eliminating a lot of the gambling aspects of it, but it's still gambling, right? This is not the stock market. This is not the S&P. This is not buying a gold coin, right? It's still more volatile than that and still more variance than that. Losing is going to happen. We had a very bad Friday last week. Very bad. 1-5. It was the worst day we've had in 6 months, but it happens. We lost 30 units on that Friday, and this is where this conversation originated from with one of the goofballs in my DMs. But the week before that, we won 40 units. Earlier in that week, we had won 10 units. We lose 30 units on that Friday. Since then, we won 15 units on Saturday, lost a couple units on Sunday, and we're up 40 units on this week. So basically, if my bankroll is $200, my unit size is $10. That's not correct. Basically, if your bankroll is $200, your unit size should be $2. Should be $2 at 1%, which is basically the highest you get. It should never be more than 1%. But if you want less risk tolerance, you go down to 0.5% or even 0.25%. But if you have a $200 bankroll, your unit size is $2. You should be betting $4, $8, or $20. If your bankroll is $200, don't gamble. That's also valid. That's also completely valid. This conversation here about bankroll management, unit sizing, and discipline is literally more important than the plays themselves. Or just said unit size went up after a sweep. That's not true. Your unit sizing does not change day to day. Now you can reevaluate your unit sizing over the course of a season. I just talked to somebody about this today. He has his unit sizing at $50 a unit. It used to be $100, and he wanted to be more disciplined. And what I told him is that stay at $50 a unit. I said, wait till we get plus 100 units or more on the year, on 2025, and then reevaluate your unit size and possibly move it from 50 back to 75. So you don't just change your unit sizing based on the day. And you've been with me here for a week, 2 weeks. You don't reevaluate your unit sizing that quick, right? Because you never know. Anything can happen. We could come out today, lose 2 games. We could lose a couple games tomorrow. Just because we went 5-0 last night doesn't mean you just up your unit sizing. Because what if the downswing comes right after that? But like the gold standard is 60%. If you picked 60% over the course of your entire career, you are the best in the world. That means if I won 8 games in a row, or me, you, anybody, if anybody won 8 games in a row, to make the math work, that means somewhere along the way, there's going to be a 6-game losing streak. Okay, now that might not necessarily come exactly 6 losses in a row, but you're going to lose 6 games, 6 more games than you win somewhere along the way to make the math work to get back to the 60%. But we've had win streaks of 8, 9, and 10 in a row in college basketball. To make the math, right? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to pick 70%, 80% for the college basketball season. It's impossible. It's impossible. If we won 8, 9, and 10 in a row, somewhere along the way, there's going to be a little downswing of 4 or 5 or 6 losses in a row. That's just the math behind it. Last Friday, we went 1-5, right? That was a downswing. That was our worst day in 6 months. But even after the downswing, we were plus over 100 units in college basketball, plus over 50 units in NBA. You have to be able to withstand a 30 unit downswing, whether it's correlated to 1% or a 0.5% of your bankroll each unit. You have to be able to withstand that downswing over the long term. If you can't, this is not the industry for you. This is not the industry for you if you can't withstand that. Now, what guys do is, like last night, we had a 5-0. Guys made a bundle of money. They're going to pull that money out of their bankroll, and they want to go to the bar. They want to go to the dinner. They want to go buy their girl something. They want to go shopping. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. That money stays in your bankroll. It has to stay in your bankroll. So when the little downswing comes, because it happens, you can withstand the downswing. Now, if you take all that money out of your bankroll that you just won and you go and spend it, right? Even though we made 20 units last night, if you take that money out and go spend it, and then today we lose 10 units, which any day is possible. We lose 10 units today. Now you're frantic because now you're losing your own money out of your pocket because you already took your winnings and you went and spent it. That's not how this works. Understand, like, there's times you pull money out of your bankroll. If you're satisfied with your unit sizing, say you have a $10,000 bankroll, your unit sizing is $100, you turn your 10,000 into 20,000. Absolutely, you can take your 10,000 out and leave your unit sizing the same. Now, you can't take your 10,000 out and double your unit sizing to $200 a unit. It's one or the other, right? And that's how you maintain the integrity of your bankroll to withstand the long term. You can't do both, right? Guys, I have 23 years experience in sports handicapping. That does not mean I was a winning sports handicapper for 23 years. In fact, I was very much a degenerate losing handicapper very early on in my life, from age 16 through college, through even a little bit later on in life. The game plan I bring to you guys, the playbook, has been written, so to speak, off of my own experience, right? These guys out here that, and you'll know who I'm talking about, that say they've only been betting for 10 months. They started betting 10 months ago. Guys, there is nothing that can replace experience, personal experience. There's just not, right? You can look at all the numbers you want to, and I talk about bankroll management, unit sizing, and discipline with anybody who shoots me a DM, because that is literally more important than the bets themselves. If you don't have self-discipline, if you don't have proper bankroll management, and if you don't understand the correlation between percentage of bankroll and unit sizing, it doesn't matter how many winners I give you, you're not going to be successful long term. That is as important, or probably more important, than the picks themselves.